show you and you'll be like, oh, you know, like it's super underwhelming. But let me just show you at least. Can I share my screen? Am I allowed? Yeah, I am. Okay. All right. Why can I not just say just the browser? Okay. Yeah, it's not letting me do just my browser. So you're going to see my entire insane screen. So I'm sorry.
Do you have a feature on advanced so you can only just share a part of your screen?
That's what I thought I could do, was I could just like share just this window, right? Like that's what I wanted to do, was just show this. But actually it's better, I guess, if I share the whole screen, because then when I do that, you see my drop downs and stuff when I click. You actually don't see that if you say like just the browser window. So anyway, it is what it is. You get to see my massive monitor that Born Digital kindly purchased for me. So let me just go here. Okay, so this is the site we're doing for Whitman, but I've pumped all of this stuff into the community version of our profile. So it's all the same. This is just like a customized version of it and stuff like that. And I did this because it has content in it. So there's a process where I can like suck down stuff from the staging environment. All right. So like the original files aren't there because we don't pull down Fedora, but the database is there and you can see stuff and we can still do access control and stuff. So we'll do that. So the main thing that I had to do was Whitman finally hit that tipping point where it had too many things in it and search started being scary slow. Like, you know, and not just me, I mean like 20 seconds. I mean, it was like forever basically. And it would time out and you would get like, they're on aisle, so you would actually get like gateway timeouts. It was really gnarly. So what I did, and I only had like 2 days to do it, was basically rig something up that works like permissions by term, but uses group behind the scenes. And so that's what this is. So if you go to your terms for Islandora access, what it does is if you build your groups and just give them the same name as the term, then behind the scenes, there's hooks that put stuff in the groups as appropriate. And that's really all the code. Like that's it. So at the end of the day, the user just like applies the tag just as they would have. But then instead of doing the permissions by term thing where it like does a database check for like every single item in a view, which then is actually multiple database checks and it like totally blows up. It does, you know, it just puts everything in groups and then like groups takes care of it. So just if you see these here, I've got the same amount. I don't have open access because I just don't put it in a group anyway. But you can go to groups here and you see that I have them just named the same. And groups is a little funky and we're using it in a certain way. So you can, you know, do things where you like add users to groups and then they get special permissions versus people not in the group, and you can mix the people with the content and stuff like that. But I'm not playing like any of those games. So there's basically for every permissions by term, I make a group type. This group type is named the same. And then for that, I make one group of that type, and that's the thing that everything gets added to. And the reason why you do that is because permissions are set at the group type level. So here I'm in admin only access. You can see it's just like the admin does everything, but you get a Drupal permissions form per group. And so that's really how the magic works. So if you tag everything appropriately, then behind the scenes, it gets put into the group, and then you can set the permissions here, and making a new permission is very easy to do. The only difference between this permission and a regular permission is that I just put the word group in the name of the YAML file that has the permission data in it, and it just like shows up here instead. But so let me just pick one that's not so boring. So here's limited access. And so here you can see other people can like view the download button, but then no one can really touch anything other than like they can see stuff. all the different media, it's done on a per media type basis, but all of the media can show up in here. And so you can have very fine-grained control for the node descriptive record and then for each of the media objects themselves. And you can, right now it's kind of like, if you make something, it just gets shoved in that group, and all of the media associated with it, they all get shoved in that group. So there's like room to explore other stuff, but like right now it's just like you tag a node and it and all of its data streams, they all wind up in that group, and that's what does it. So like here, I can show you some of the groups. This already has like a lot of content in it, but if I go to the group, I'll show you the UI for this. It's a little wacky, but once you learn your way through it, it's fine. There's nodes, and it will show you what nodes are there. And then if you go to this all entities one though, you'll see everything. So here you can see we've got the admin user who is always added to everything. And then the actual node. And then here's all the nodes data streams, or all of the media that get created for it with derivatives and stuff like that. And so I can show you this, but like we'll go make something. Boop, 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 excuse me. So we'll make this one limited access as well. And we'll just make it a collection, why not? So this has Whitman stuff in it because I'm using their environment, but it's all the same. And so I just tagged it as limited access. So if we save this, here's the entity itself, the collection. If we go back to this groups page, where am I? Whew. Okay, took a second for that block of tabs to Ajax in. Got a little scared there. If we go to nodes, here you can see this thing has showed up. And I can go through the exercise with you and add the stuff, but it's all there. So basically what I wrote is just something that indexes groups based on how you tag it in permissions by term, and that's it. So it just like replicates that. We have found that this immediately improved the performance of the site, like by a power of 10. It was pretty intense how much it helped the site out to do that. It does strip stuff out of views results. It does strip stuff out of search results. And this is something that we had not noticed before, it actually is locking things down appropriately now. And so before, and this is something I have to circle back to, if you just knew the URL for the files, you could get to the files. And now it will actually lock down the file. And so you have to have access when you're requesting the file. And because of that, Cantaloupe actually fails. So I can't use a AAA viewer right now because it actually is getting blocked for real. What's up, Kirsta?
I'm just clapping.
Oh, I thought that was a wave. I'm sorry.
No. It was
okay.
That was me clapping for you for solving all the problems. Yes.
Okay, I thought that was a hand raise.
No, I should use this one instead.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Now I understand your emojis. Okay. So yeah. So like, it's not perfect. Like right now things are just named the same and stuff lines up. We could formalize that. Also, I don't pretend to know what everyone's use case is. And so like all we're shipping with is the code that does the indexing, and like on a per client basis, we set up these groups. And it's based on them and their use case. Like I'm not even attempting to like say, this is the default access control scheme, right? Like what I'm showing here is that we could implement the default access control scheme with groups. That's really what I'm trying to show and prove to you with a live functioning site that, yeah, like, yes, I've seen this thing go from like completely unusable to being snappy again. And all we had to do was change this access control scheme. And it slides in pretty easily. Like if Seth were here, he'd be happy. Like I can turn this stuff on, turn off permissions by term, and then to reindex everything, you just save everything over again, which can be done in like a a loop you just run in a screen somewhere, and like that's it. And then everything gets indexed, and then it's back, and you have your site back. So yeah, like that's it. I'm sorry, like access control isn't a very sexy thing to show off, right? But that's it. So I'm not sure what people took issue with, or what they were worried about, or anything. But I mean, we can just talk about it if people have questions. Or what I feel is probably the real situation is that that use case that is composed of like everyone's individual use case needs to somehow get like distilled in the ether and come out to like that common use case. And I just don't know if we're there yet. I think it might be that. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I guess I can show you it in action here if you want to see me like take